Welcome to Mimi's Math Channel. Today I will discuss natural log with base E. So on your calculator, you will notice that natural log is abbreviated with LN, and above that, it's going to have E raised to the X power. But I'll show you that once we get to example 2. For example 1, you are asked to simplify expressions. So for part A, I have E raised to the 5 times natural log of X. What I would do is rewrite it, and I would take my 5, which is really my exponent for this value X, and I would rewrite it. So what that looks like is this 5 is going to be the exponent for X. So E raised to the natural log of X to the 5th. Well, you learned in the previous video that if you have the same base in your natural log or log, as well as the base of your exponent, then you can just simply cross it out and replace it with a 1. Then whatever is left over, you will multiply times that 1. In this case, what's left over is X to the 5th. My final answer is simply X to the 5th. Now, going on to example B, you have to pay attention to the size of the E that's shown in B, because this E goes with the exponent. It has to have the base and the exponent, but it's understood to also have a base E for the natural log itself. And just like in part A, if my bases are the same, I can just go ahead and cross through that, and that becomes a 1. 1 times what's left over. Well, what's left over is that negative X over 3. For part C, you have to pay attention to the parentheses, because it's telling me that everything that's in this set of parentheses is affected by this exponent of 3. So be careful with that. So that means that I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to raise it to the 3rd power. Anytime I have something next to each other, that indicates I'm multiplying. So then I'm going to multiply that times E raised to the negative 2x. However, this negative 2x is also raised to the 3rd power. Now you want to simplify everything. So 4 to the 3rd power means 4 times 4 times 4, which we know is 64. And then E raised to the negative 2x times 3. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6x. So that's going to be E to the negative 6x. Well, we've learned before in another video that we cannot have a negative exponent. So what you would have to do is take the reciprocal. The 64 is going to stay on the top. It's going to be 64. However, once I take the reciprocal of this one, this is really, I'm going to put a 1 here. And once you take your reciprocal, you're going to change the sign of that exponent. So that now becomes E raised to the positive 6x power. For part D, I'm looking at 20 divided by 5. Well, it's 4. You always put your answer wherever your bigger number was. So the bigger number was in the numerator, so that's where it's going to go. That applies also when I am using my exponent rules when I have the same base. E, 1 in the numerator and the denominator. So I want to combine them and put them in one place. So that one place will be where the bigger number is. 9 is bigger than 7. The rule says that I'm going to subtract whenever I have a division problem with the same base. So 9 minus 7 is going to give me 2. So I'm going to have E raised to the 2nd power. So now in example 2, I am asked to solve. And when I solve, I have to make sure that I go back and I check to make sure I don't have like an extraneous solution. There are 2 ways that you can do this. The easiest way is to go ahead and take advantage of the property that I just showed you in example 1. And that is to understand that there is an E here. So the bases are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, bring that x cubed down, set it equal to what's already there. Well, when we're solving, our answer should be x equals something. In order to get rid of that cube, what we will have to do is the inverse, which is cube root. The purpose was to get rid of the cube, and now I have x is equal to 2. When you're solving, you want to verify that this is in fact true. So I am going to go back to my original problem. X is 2. These 2 are going to cancel out and become 1, and I know that 2 times 2 times 2, which is really 2 to the 3rd, is 8. So 2 is a good answer. For part B, I have to know the rule about condensing. When it's separated by a minus sign, I am going to divide. And yes, the order matters. So if it's a plus that's understood to be here, that's going to go in my numerator. If something is followed by a minus sign, that's going to go in my denominator. So condensing this is going to be the natural log of 5 over x. And I'm setting this equal to 3. I need to rewrite this as an exponent, but I need to understand that there is a base of e. And then I'm going to go to the opposite side of the equal sign of 3 is equal to, and then come back 5 over x. In order to find e, since it's in blue on this calculator, I have to press second natural log, and then it's asking me to put in my exponent. So it's 3. And that's going to be this value. So what my denominator is, I'm going to multiply both sides by that, and that gets rid of the x. So now I have e to the third power x is equal to 5. And now to get x by itself, I want to divide both sides by that e to the third power. Just type in 5 divided by, go up and highlight this because you want to be as accurate as possible. So copy it, paste it, and then enter. Now I'm just going to ask you to round this to the hundreds place, 0.25. I would have to put that 0.25 back in and then check it. However, for this one, what I would have done is copied everything. So I would have typed in natural log of 5 minus natural log of all of this, copy it, paste it, and then it's supposed to equal 3. For part C, this time your natural log is separated by a plus sign, which indicates that you're going to be multiplying your values. The values are what's after your log or your natural log that usually are in parentheses, but sometimes they're not. Natural log of x squared times x minus 2x. Because there's an expression right here, I have to distribute this value to both of those. And now I'm going to set that equal to natural log of 8. Well, there's a property that says that if I have a natural log and a natural log 1-to-1, I can go ahead and just get rid of them and bring down the value that's left over. So that's going to be x squared minus 2x is equal to 8. And now that I see that I have x squared, I know that I'm about to factor. So I want to set this equal to 0 by subtracting 8 on both sides. And I'm left with x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. And now you just have to remember how to factor, which is taking your a, which is 1, times c, -8. And you're trying to find two factors that will multiply to give you -8, but they're going to add to give you the b term in the middle, which is -2. Looking at 2 and 4, I can actually use those numbers. What I would have to be concerned with, though, are the signs. So the bigger number always takes the sign of whatever's in the middle. So now, because my leading coefficient was a 1, all I have to do is just put x times x to get x squared, and then that plus 2 and minus 4 that I just came up with over here. But since it's set equal to 0, the question is asking, what would x have to be plus 2 to make it equal 0? So you're going to set both of these factors equal to 0 and then solve for x. So in this case, x would have to be -2. And in this one, x would have to be +4. I want to go and check this. I have two answers. I know that I cannot have a negative value. So make sure you understand academic language. Value is the part that is in parentheses that comes after your natural log or your log. I can't have -2. If I were to substitute this in, it's not going to match. It's going to give me undefined or error. So I know I can just go ahead and cross through that one. Now let's check on 4. We're going to type in natural log of 4 because that was an x, but we want to change it to a 4, and don't double parentheses like I just did because that'll give you an error. And then you want to add natural log and then 4 again, -2. So again, I'm just taking this and putting a 4 here, and it says -2, and it's supposed to equal the natural log of 8. So once I press enter here, now let's see what natural log of 8 is. They equal the same amount. So I know that the 4 does work. So each time you have a solved problem, you want to go back and check. Please remember to like and subscribe. Have an awesome day.